Good morning, students. I'm here once again to you people. Let me summarize first of all what we have discussed in my previous lecture. There was actually the conclusion of the topic chapter that was entitled as this constitutional designing. Last time I was talking about the constitutional designing and the ultimate subtopic which I have touched, that was this philosophy of the constitution, and in which I very broadly discussed with you people about this preamble. How preamble is the basic gist and the basic values of the Constitution of India are embedded within this preamble. Hope you have developed an understanding of now this thing, that how democracy is functioning and what's the role of the Constitution in a particular democratic country. So now today let's move ahead. Let's go a bit forward. I'm going to discuss with you people the new chapter, chapter number 3 from your textbook. That's titled as this electoral politics. Here, that's electoral politics, the third chapter of your textbook, of your syllabus. So, dear students, electoral politics are a very beautiful theme, very beautiful concept. The moment when we talk about any democratic country, when we talk about the democratic system, the electoral politics, the elections, they play a vital role, they play a predominant role, magnificent one, in functioning the smooth way, and in addressing the people, and in electing the people from the different corners of the country, and to frame and to lay down the democratic governance within the particular country. So electoral politics is one of the pillar of this democratic system. Without elections, without electoral politics, we can't reckon, we can't think that we can establish a strong and a smooth and a mature democracy, what we have witnessed within this 21st century among the different countries of the world as well. So, dear students, before I am going to jump to discuss this, what's electoral politics all the way, overall, so let's try to understand, first of all, the meaning of the word, what election means. So here, let's have a quick glance towards the screen. What's an election? So, dear students, election is a mechanism in which the people can choose the representatives at regular intervals and change them if they need felt, if they wish to do so. This mechanism called elections. So simply we can say, so election is the process, it's a mechanism for electing our representatives who are just representing our voices, who are the representative of our wishes, wills, and the choices. And later on, they established a particular party, or they establish a particular institution. They establish a particular organization. And those very persons whom we do have a choice to change them, we are having to change to dismantle that very process, to dismantle that very status quo, to dismantle them, to reshape them on the regular basis and on the particular tenure. So this process, this mechanism makes what we simply call an elections. So, dear students, now the question arises, after defining the word elections, why the different countries of the world felt the need of this thing, that's we do have the elections. Let's conduct elections periodically. Let's have the phase of the elections in the country. Do you feel that the elections are the prerequisite? Do you understand that elections are devoid of the elections? The democracy is complete blind. It's wingless. It's complete dumb. Absolutely yes. The answer is quite crystal. It's as clear as the daylight. The answer is absolutely right that we can't have the smooth functioning of the democracy. We can't attain the sense of the democracy in originality till the moment we don't have the smooth, periodical, phase-wise, consistent, fair and free elections within the country. So this is the brief. These are the basic subtopics, sub-themes which we are going to discuss within a coming couple of days within the same chapter that we are going to cover up within this chapter that's entitled as electoral politics. So, dear students, so exactly, apparently, there is a need of elections. If you take the example of my country, India, so we do have here the long legacy of the conducted elections for our prime ministers. When you talk about this Lok Sabha elections, the tenure is 5 years. Although devoid of any calamity, devoid of any disaster, devoid of any war-like situations, we can have this different situation. Then we can have implement emergency powers there. That too is constitutional. That's not unconstitutional. But if we witness from 1947 till 2020, a long walk to the elections that's smooth functioning, irrespective of our neighboring country like Pakistan, where we have witnessed the complete turtle situations persistently. Exactly, elections, it's the need of an hour where the people feel freely, they express their will. they express their will without any clash. So dear students, so why now elections are very compulsory? Let me prove this statement by quoting one episode, one case study from one of the state of India, what's known as the Haryana. Here it's the map of Haryana, the political map of Haryana on the screen. Let's have a view at the glimpse on it. Do you know, dear students, if you talk about the Haryana, the electoral politics of Haryana, the case in Haryana, the Haryana state was ruled by the Congress government till 1982. It was ruled by a government, that's Congress government, till 1982. So this what happened in 1982 when it was predominantly dominated by this one single government, that's Congress government. This one-dimensional concept gave birth to the opposition as well. So there was one person, namely Chaudhry Devlal. This person on the screen, the name is Chaudhry Devlal. Chaudhry Devlal. He led the foundation of the new party there. The name of the party was Naya Yudh. The name of a party was Naya Yudh. This party was, it was opposition party, who the foundation of this party was led by this man called Chaudhry Devlal, and the party was given a name that was a Naya Yudh party. So the way I earlier said to you, until 1982, the party, the state was ruled by a single party, the Congress-led party. But after the emergence of this man, Sri Lal, Chaudhry Devlal, he gave a new concept to them, what we simply call the concept of opposition. So the moment he provided his election manifesto, the roadmap for the candidate elections, he made various promises to the people of the Haryana that we are going to the waive of all the loans, we will come up with expectations, we will improve the business at the small scale levels, we are going to improvise the conditions of the farmers, we are going to the substitute the different contexts as well. So to appeal the moments, he gave these appealing ideas, the rosy promises to the people of this Haryana. So they were allured. They were appealed by these, they were moved by these ideas, by the new roadmap. And this new concept of opposition of Sri Lal gave the serious jolt to the party of this Congress party. And when this 1980, when the elections were held within the coming elections, so out of 90 seats, 76 seats were won. They were in the credit, within the pocket of this man called Chaudhry Devlal. So dear students, this is the way the opposition works. That it said goodbye to the one party there, which was predominant party from a long span of time, almost 3, 4, 5 decades. So this party was completely given the whitewash from this Haryana, and the new party came into existence after he provided the special promises to them. The people felt that this person can address our grievances well. So but let's see the situation of destiny, what happens. And the maturity of the democratic voters. When we conducted the elections, when we conducted the elections there in 1991, after the end of the tenure of this man, Sri Lal, again the Congress party came into existence. They came into the prominence. They won the chair. They became the chief minister of the states. It means that there was a complete revival from one party to another party, and later once again we witnessed the Congress rule within the Haryana. So this is the way the people of the Chandigarh, this Haryana, said goodbye to this Chaudhry Devlal, and they once again came with the same political party, what we simply call the Congress, who was earlier ruling them. So dear students, so in Haryana, we witness it now that the people, by the help of these elections, the democratic system, the Constitution of India, gives them special right, what we simply call the right to vote. So where they can dismantle the government, where they can reshape the government, where they can reshuffle the system by the power of their votes. So this electoral politics plays a very predominant role within the country. That's what we simply call the democratic country. So dear students, the electoral politics, it's a detailed constitutional arrangements and voting system that converts the vote into a political decision. So it is such a system, electoral politics, that gives the power to the voter through his voting system, that can vote, that can convert the vote, that can convert a single vote, the voice of single individual, the click of single individual, into the new political decisions. That's what we simply call this electoral politics. Now the question arises, what happens if we don't have this so-called electoral system? And why do we need them? And what happens if we don't have them? If the same concept was not among the books of the Constitution, if democracy is not given the one feature what we simply call elections, so what could happen then? Dear students, let me recapitulate to you people. There are almost 100 plus countries in the world where the elections are held regularly. 100 plus countries are there in the world where the elections are held. Where elections are held and the people are elected. Their representatives are elected for the people. Let's think for a while. If the people are not elected, they are selected. And the particular role of selection is their education and plus knowledge. And plus age as well. So the 2-3 factors we are given, that's the elections, to choose a person, to select a person. The determinant is that's education, and the second factor is that's their knowledge and the age. So don't you feel, dear students, this on the basis of selecting the person, on the basis of election, on the basis of education, on the basis of the knowledge, and on the basis of age, it will lead a sort of rivalry. It will lead a sort of animosity. It will create a vicious cycle-like situation where the things are very difficult to choose. Exactly, yes. So the remedy for all those things is that's election, where the things are given, where the choices are given to the voters that you can cast their votes. So in elections, the voters make the choices. They make the law. The representatives make the law for them. They choose the government, and the government takes major decisions for them. And the politicians will guide the government in the lawmaking as well. That's why, time and again, the need in India was felt for conducting the smooth, free and fair elections within the India. So different subtopics will be covered, inshallah, within a couple of days for the within the same chapter. You just till then, be stayed, take care, and Allah Hafiz.